of Sustainability, where we talk to some of our members of our 5 sustainability coalitions who are working really hard behind the scenes to make the world a better place. So today I am absolutely delighted to be joined by Sophie Corcut, Sustainability Lead at Spinney's, a UAE-based retailer. So hello, Sophie, how are you doing?
Hi, Louise. It's lovely to meet you, and thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure. So my first question, a bit of a general one, but I'd like to get to know you a bit more. So what got you interested in working in sustainability?
It's a great question. I think it's a really long journey. From a very young age, I always had a strong connection to the natural world and the environments around me. And I always believed that they were intrinsically valuable, that we needed them to have a better life. And we just needed to be considerate to people and planet. And that young sort of activist in me would, encourage my family to not buy certain products, write letters to my local MP, and just do things like sponsored walks. And later on, when I was working in retail, ended up working in retail, I was always interested in products and day-to-day items in our lives. And I think then I saw the other side to the value of nature and how it's used by societies and companies. And the more and more I saw what was happening, I just had more questions about the systems that we all work in, the systems that are in place around us. And I took out some time to go back and sort of really try and answer these questions for myself by doing a master's in sustainability after about 8 to 9 years of working. And that's when I realized, my place in the world might be to try and help make those systems a little bit more healthy for people and planet. That was my value to bring to the system.
Brilliant. So now that you're sort of established in your career and really involved in the sort of nitty-gritty of the work, what keeps you inspired these days to keep going?
It is such an interesting subject. I mean, the breadth of topics you cover, the fact that this is a meeting point between society, nature, business, that it's so complex, and that you need so much collaboration to make things happen. So there are so many aspects for me personally that make it inspiring and get me out of bed every single day. And I think what's so interesting about it is it's both one of the most pressing and can also be one of the most positive areas to work on. It's both urgent, but also optimistic and exciting at the same time. You never stop learning. I think that's the thing that for me makes it so interesting. Endless need for curiosity, and you learn something new every single day. Your perceptions will be changed through this work constantly. So you come out with a different answer to the one you think you came in with.
Brilliant. So Spinney's is obviously a CGF member. Which sustainability coalition are you a part of, and why is that membership and the work itself important?
Yes, we're members of the 10 by 20 by 30 coalition addressing food waste. Which is so important because I think we've known for a long time that around 1/3 of all food produced for human consumption is sadly wasted. But new research is showing that figure is probably even higher, at around 40% of all food produced is being wasted. So the issue is not going away, and the issue is actually getting worse. And combined with that, we also know that the figures around food poverty are going up. 3.1 billion people around the world don't have access to a healthy diet, and around 800 million going hungry. Then, of course, you add that to the fact that food waste is in fact a kind of hidden driver of climate change. And if we're really addressing this issue as a company, it means we're really hitting not only what's core to what we do, we're a food retailer, but so many issues at once. So yeah, as part of this coalition, we are committed to halving our own food waste by 50% by 2030, working with a range of different partners, local farmers, local producers, food redistributors, charities. And it's also just really changing our mindset inside the business around, being really as efficient as we can on food waste. So it's great that we're a member.
Super. So what have you learned then from being part of the coalition?
I think the things I've learned are that leadership plays such a key role in driving a ripple effect. I've been so inspired to see the coalition being chaired by CEOs and, you know, really senior business leaders. And I think that's demonstrating that this is top of the business agenda now. It's absolutely at the top of leadership in retail and food manufacture around the world now. And that's so important because it does create a real ripple effect in the organization. I've also learned that, you know, the change we need to make is structural and it takes time. And, you know, the number of conversations we've had about reporting and harmonizing the data, that takes a lot of time to get in place, and aligning everyone towards the same goals and targets is what will make the change happen. But we're turning big ships, not sailboats. And finally, that I've learned that collaboration and partnership need the right space for the right conversations to happen. And sustainability is a brilliant driver of creating safe conversations about things that are sometimes quite hard to do in the cut and thrust of commercial discussions. So creating a safe space for new ideas, for innovation, needs to happen and can happen through the sustainability agenda. And then we worry about how we commercialize solutions and ideas afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. So my next question for you, Sophie, is sort of from your viewpoint as a female working in sustainability. How do you think equality and sustainability are linked?
I think they're so core, and equality and inequality runs at the absolute core of achieving sustainable development. Equality takes many, many forms. We're talking about income equality, gender equality, age and ethnic inequalities and social inequalities of all different kinds. And in a way, it's so important because it's at the heart of why we're all around the table. It is about creating a better life for everybody and representing everyone in the whole system. And we also know that with greater social equality comes better environmental outcomes. If we achieve better levels of equality, we actually see, you know, better outcomes for all the other sustainability indicators as well. So as an example, you know, when we get greater inequality, we see a greater increase in wildlife poaching, as an example, or we see informal workers leading to worsening land management practices because they've not been educated and trained in how to manage their environments better, so they degrade faster. So basically, we need to level the playing field. And if we provide access to all the basic necessities for more social groups around the world, we're going to result in better outcomes for people and for planet. And that's obviously, we could unpack that in hours and hours of conversation, but it's so important. It's why we're actually all here, I believe.
Absolutely. So speaking of leveling the playing field, as you said, you know, if we think about that at the leadership level, why do you think inclusive leadership is really crucial to tackling sustainability issues?
Yes, inclusive leadership means bringing all stakeholders to the table in conversations so that we are not excluding key individuals and key groups from the way that we build towards that sustainable future, whether it's representing all the players in a supply chain who all play a part in that supply chain, and not only the players in the supply chain who may have the greatest influence or be the largest in the supply chain. We need to make sure that those with of the biggest size are bringing in all the right players and making sure that we do shape a sustainability agenda that works for everyone. We need to make sure that we define sustainability in the right way. The way that the consumer defines sustainable might be different to the way the farmer defines sustainable. So everyone needs to come around the table to have the conversations that are challenging and difficult. We all need to listen and learn from one another in order to shape the right solutions for the future.
Super. Well, thank you so much, Sophie, for taking the time to share some of your thoughts with us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Louise. It's been a real pleasure.